y'all. Welcome back to Rose Rock Sweets and Soil, the radio edit for ICU Radio 97.3. This is the podcast that helps us navigate life's bumps, detours, and breakthroughs with faith, grace, and wisdom. I'm your host, Natasha Elaine, and this is episode 7, y'all, of the Friends After 40 series. Whew, this one is called Still Rooted, Building the Circle That We Prayed For, okay? And the intro song, y'all, that was Man Above by Aaron Cole featuring No Big Deal, y'all. That is a track that says no matter who's in your circle, you gotta keep God at the center of it all, okay? That's the kind of grounding that we are building from right here, right now, okay? That's how we are opening up this finale episode because, man, over the past 6 weeks, we have talked about everything from starting over socially to grown woman girl codes, right? Grown woman loyalty, platonic peace, spiritual alignment. Man, we've even dove into forgiveness and non-reconciliation, right? And legacy. But this one is personal, y'all. So let's go ahead and get on the road and reflect on how we got here this time around, all right? Because over this series, y'all, I got to share my platform with some of the most important people in my life. Y'all, I had my BFF on. I had my broski on. I had my God time girl. I got my round the way girls. Okay. And yes, I even pulled my high school sweetheart out the woodwork, y'all, onto the set. All right. And just when I thought we were done, okay, I found myself itching at my 30-year high school reunion. And I almost extended the series, y'all, with a whole nother crew from the fourth grade. Yo, shout out to Kimya, Leftwich, and Mo, not to mention the online friend episode that got nixed before I could shout out Susan, Deanna, and Lightstorm. And I had to give an honorable mention out to my guy, y'all, Mark Robb, yo, who, just like Lightstorm, is one of the most supportive friends that I've never met. Okay. Yes, my online friends be doing it real big. And I love them for that. Yo, let me tell y'all, I'm not even going to get into my online Poshmark cohort, man, because those online friends, those are the ones who have funded me for, when I tell you some of them over a decade, and you know, I cannot mess around and forget a name by accident. So no, we are not going to do it. But you know, I love y'all and I mean it. All right. Yo, this series showed me how I show up, how I don't show up, how I've shown out, how the real ones show up for me, and how the show doesn't end just because a friendship does. Man, before we dive into more reflections, though, I want you to catch this next one. It's been riding shotgun in my spirit all week, y'all. It's a reminder that even when the journey feels repetitive, our obedience is not on a loop, y'all. It is on assignment because God does not just operate across these vast timelines. No, He is in the details, y'all. He guides us through each twist and turn with precision, y'all, especially in the detours, especially in the delays, you know, divine delays. Yes. And sometimes when we look back, baby, we realize that He was the one driving the train the entire time, y'all. We were like, whoa, it was His path. It was His pace. It was His peace. Yo, He be working like the Metro, y'all. I love this song too, y'all. This is by Aaron Cole featuring Ty Brasel. Yes, Metro, get on the bus. Now, let's get into these rocks, y'all, that we have learned will try to get in the way every single time because we have all hit that wall in a friendship when, you know, we had those moments where we got ghosted, we were overlooked, or even we just felt like we got replaced. And maybe you've even been the one to drift off quietly. Okay. So if we're honest, sometimes the biggest rock truly is us. Okay. Our fears, our disappointments, our egos, our silence, our lack of respect. Sometimes it's simply our lack of unconditional love. But here's the part that we rarely admit. Sometimes we want a friendship to end, not because we don't like the person, but because we simply do not have the emotional capacity to carry someone else's healing, y'all. This is real. Sometimes we ghost before we grow. Sometimes we sabotage before we say what's really wrong. And that's when we actually convince ourselves that walking away is way better than working it out, not realizing that the rock is really the wound that we never ever tended to, that we're going to have to get to before we can actually move on, right? So this next song, y'all, is a reminder that no matter how many of those wounds, how many of those storms we get to weather, y'all, emotional, spiritual, relational, or physical, the seasons always shift. And you know what happens when they shift? As long as we're rooted, as long as you stay rooted, you are going to grow through every season stronger than you did the last, yo. Here is Mission with Brvndon P and this song called Seasons. You're going to like this one. Y'all ready for these weeds? Because some of us are still stuck in the cycle of overextending ourselves. Always pouring without pause, right? Others have fallen into the habit of treating every connection like it's disposable, okay? Assuming that everyone's temporary before they even get a chance to stay. Like, she out, I'm out, deuces. No, sometimes you gotta just give it the pause for real, okay? And then we got some people, y'all, who haven't planted anything new, nothing new at all, because they are still grieving what didn't grow. But here's the truth. You can't find real ones if you never create space for them to come in. That's why I say you got to get those weeds up out of here, because, man, this series was your clearing season, okay? Now it is time to plant. We have spent the season pulling the weeds and guarding our hearts. Here's the question, though. What do we do on the new ground, okay? We got this new ground. We got this good soil ready for us to toil and till. Listen, before we get into what we're going to do with it, we're going to listen to one more song, y'all. Y'all, this song right here is going to remind you that the proof of your growth is in how you show up. Not for everybody, as we say in PG County, right? But for the ones who matter most. This one's called Proof by Aaron Cole with Limoblaze and Terrian. I hope you like it as much as I do. All right, y'all. This episode isn't just a wrap up. It's a reset. You've already been equipped with a friendship audit, the Grow Code and the Bro Code tools. You got spiritual alignment checklists, forgiveness exercises, and brotherhood building tasks. And you got all of that for free, y'all. But you already know we got to make some shifts around here, okay? We got to shift from clearing to clicking, y'all. We got to click with these friends. We got to see what's what. We got to go from missing to meshing together, losing to loving, y'all. So I am introducing the Friends After 40 Real Ones Re-Up, Repair, and Renew Suite, y'all. This is designed to help us plant new seeds in the space we've just cleared. And let me tell y'all, I'm getting a little jump start. I was invited to this quasi-platonic fly buddy brunch. Yes, I said B-U-D-D-Y. Listen, like Moni Love, right? It was the perfect way to spend the day. I know. I'm so old school, but listen, this suite has a 30-day soil check challenge, okay? You're going to get a monthly friendship tracker. How about devotionals and individual reflection prompts, a group devotional activity journal set, games, and guided workshop access. Plus, the doors are open to our Friends After 40 Slack circle, okay? So you never have to reflect alone. You can rebuild in community while you build new community, okay? Earlier in this episode, we named lack of unconditional love as one of the biggest boulders, the biggest rocks that block real friendship. But when we use these tools to finally clear the fear, check the ego, and get into the good soil, what grows is something sweeter than we could ever imagine, y'all. According to Matthew 22:37-39, we got 2 jobs, y'all. We got to love God and we got to love others as much as we love ourselves. Oh, so I guess that's technically 3 jobs. And this next track, though, y'all, it captures everything this series has taught us, that love doesn't have to be loud to be lasting, that sometimes the realest ones are the quietest encouragers. It's for the friendships that healed, the ones that held on, and the ones that we had to lay down. Yo, it's a reminder that unconditional love is still the goal, not the kind that demands perfection, but the kind that leaves room for growth, grace, and God, y'all. That is legacy love. That's the real soil. And that's why this one belongs here. It's called Love So Sweet by Chastity and Porsha. I love this song. Love So Sweet. Y'all gonna like it too. Oh, didn't y'all love that? Okay, so before you pop up out of here, go to rrwspodcast.com/digital resources to choose your tier and get your bundle, man. Start the soil check now. Share it with your circle. Host a brunch, maybe a wind down, but pray over your crew, pray with your crew, and most importantly, get aligned. Okay. Yep. That's the word of the week. Aligned, y'all. Get aligned with God so he can align you with the friends he knows will take you higher. Okay. Proverbs 13:20. You already know where I'm going with this. Proverbs 13:20 says, we get wiser when we walk with the wise. But if we roll with the fools, y'all, we're going to end up acting just like them. Foolish. Okay. We don't want that, because after everything that we have learned, y'all, after everything we learned in this series, the truth is you don't need the crowd. You need the called. Okay. Yes. CALLED. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Listen, those were some called brothers. That is real friendship. Okay. Even if he doesn't rescue us, we will not bow. That's what they said. That kind of faith together is the kind that stands in the fire and comes out not even smelling like smoke. All right. That's the loyalty. That's alignment. That's God, y'all. So let's build the circle that we prayed for. Okay. Together, aligned with God, because you already know his way's better. And that is our song of the week, y'all, by Forrest Frank. These lyrics speak directly to the friends at the 40 journey, y'all, choosing peace over popularity, pruning over people pleasing, and discernment over desperation. A true worship anthem for those of us who've tried doing things our way. Okay. Finally, we knew we needed to surrender to his, because the fruit is always better when we follow his way. Okay. Until next time, y'all, I need you to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or slide in my DMs on IG at RRWS Podcast. I want to hear what you thought about this series, y'all. Plus, I'll be running reels and shorts of some of our favorite moments too. So don't trip. You're going to see some more of this series, because this was a good one. Oh, and next week, y'all, we are starting a brand new one. Yes, no breaks for the kid. All right. Holy Spirit got your girl flowing. It is called Given to Driven to Winning. From God's desire to kingdom victory. All right. That's what I'm talking about. These up. Yo, you do not want to miss it, y'all. I am Natasha Elaine on Rose, Rocks, Weeds, and Soil for ICU Radio 97.3. Y'all, I need you to remember to pray, read, listen, and obey, y'all. Don't forget. Bye, y'all.